Hello everyone and welcome. Okay, before I start this video off, I want to pay homage and give respect to all of my ancestors, known and unknown, who have traversed this home planet that we call Earth, whether that be my indigenous native ancestors, my African ancestors, and my ancestors who were the defenders of righteousness, truth, and universal laws. And many, whether they came in any other race form, those also are our ancestors, those who walk with us in truth and in faith and in universal laws. So to all of those who have walked on this planet and have laid the foundation for which I stand upon, those are the ones that I call upon today as I deliver this message. Those are the ones that I am venerating here today, and giving thanks always for their contribution, and giving thanks giving thanks for their testimonies, the testimonies that they left behind, that are forever reminders of the foundations they laid and the torch that we carry and defend. Okay, now the title of this video is Blood Contracts, Loans, Credit Card Advances. Okay, we're going to be talking about these and why you should not come into agreement with any of them. Okay, if you can't afford to have something, go without it. Okay, now if it's absolutely something that you must have for your survival, then go for it. Okay, but by all means, don't get caught up in that. It's time to walk away from that and leave that alone. Okay, I'm giving you this message for many reasons. Okay, one is it's time for the church. Okay, and when I say the church, I'm referring to the light workers, the gods, the goddesses, the saints, all of those of us who look to uphold universal law, righteousness, and Mayat. This is who this message is for. I want to be clear on my channel, because everyone in every community now, we use these terms. They've become many have many meanings. So I just want to define, when I say the chosen on my channel or the church, what it means. It means the righteous, those who believe in Mayat and balance and truth and all the principles that this earth was founded on. Okay, so that's who I'm referring to, and those of us who life's purpose and life works revolves around that. Okay, so we go by many names these days, but I want everyone to know that they can find a place here on my channel as long as you are within that scope of things. I'm talking to you. Okay, so those blood contracts, that's exactly what they are. You're just under the assumption that this is just a regular thing that you do in your nation. When you want something, you go and get credit, you sign a paper and you go get what you want. But I'm here to tell you that these contracts are blood contracts. They're very binding, and they're binding spiritually and physically and legally. Okay, meaning there are shadowy figures that are behind these contracts. Okay, writing is very powerful. Okay, writing is done in spell work, binding spell work. Okay, so you may think that you just signing something and okay, this is just part of the process, but there are spiritual implications to writing. Writing is considered magic. Okay, this is why you hear when you watch these history channels and stuff and they're uncovering ancient civilizations, they call these civilizations who had a system of writing, they call them advanced, because writing is highly advanced. It means something. It does something, okay? When you speak something and when you write something, that is declaration, decrees. The spirit realm takes that as law. So that's why you are bound to it, whether you think that you're going to get out of it or not. You know, just like a marriage, you know, when you legally go and sign a marriage certificate and you decide you want to now go and get a divorce, it takes time now after the divorce for that full separation to occur and for there to truly be peace. And for some, especially those who have children was that binding factor that makes you guys inseparable, period. You know what I mean? That was an act of binding, the birth of the child. So, but for those of you who maybe get married and get a divorce and you don't have any children, it takes time to break that tie, that writing, that certificate, right? That writing that was done, you know, that soul tie that was made when you guys entered one another, when you became intimate with one another, right? There was a binding. So now just because you sign divorce papers don't mean it's over. There's a whole process of a separation. It takes time, right? For that sacred union that you built to dissolve, right? Could take years. You could be done left someone 10, 15 years. You could still smell their scent, you know, coming from your vagina. You can still have their thoughts. You can still have their essence very much attached to you because it was binding. Binding is to become one, to become an agreement. So, you know, even though you signed those papers, it takes time for that spelling that you put forth with that divorce, that spell work that was written in the divorce, for it to actually take effect. Okay? So I say that to say that this is the power of these contracts, these writings that you come in agreement with, that you sign your signature on the line. And when you get into tough times, you think that you could just walk away from them. No, they have consequences. So I'm here especially for the youth and, you know, really for the whole body. Like I said, the youth, the church, you know, this is knowledge that needs to be had. You know, you may be getting ready to start your business, getting ready to start your ministry, you know what I mean? And you want to get equipment, you want to get certain things, and you may not have the finances to do so. I'm here to tell you, don't do it, okay? Because again, these things are binding, okay? And I'm going to tell you some of the effects that they have when you break these contracts, okay? So just bear with me. I wrote a lot. And I'm going to break it down to you. So let's see. We have seen debt, money problems break up families, take away stability where people lose their homes, lose any kind of real estate, okay? Lead people to mental breakdowns, depressions, we've seen people from money problems and debts owed where they're mentally ill now, walking on the streets, you know, just gone, okay? It leads to crime, okay, where people now are looking to rob someone or something to make up for that debt, right? Creating more trauma and more problems, you know, for themselves and for their community. Addiction, when people generally can't get a grasp of their life because it's spinning out of control, especially when it pertains to debt and money owed, they begin to overindulge. Perhaps if they were already into some kind of form of narcotic drugs, they will do it more, right? To calm their minds down or to just try to forget about what they are dealing with, right? So we'll see the addiction increase, or we'll see someone who never used decide to pick up, you know what I mean? And that begins to deteriorate the body, the temple, the mind, the families, okay? We see people overdose because of addictions now, and ultimately death. These contracts are ultimately designed, if you can't pay them back, they ultimately lead to destruction and death, okay? So You need to know that that's what they are designed. That's their thing, is to steal, kill, and destroy. Okay, these contracts are never equal. They're never there to help you. It is ultimately to help those who are pretending to be helpers to you to increase their profits and increase their dominion, okay, and domination over the world populations through telling you, hey, we're going to give you this money that we've created. We're going to give it to you. You're going to pay us back interest. And if you pay it back, use one savvy and good mofo, but if you can't, we're going to forever be in your pockets for life. If you decide to go the long route and make the minimum payments, we're going to forever be in your pockets and keep debt being perpetual in your life, making it generational. Or we're going to take your life if you decide you just don't want to pay it back, okay? Now, when I say that, I'm going to give you some examples of how this has played out in real life and examples that you can actually investigate and say, wow, that really did happen like that, okay? I wrote it down somewhere, and I hope I can find all of the examples. Give me one sec. Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to deal with sharecropping, okay? Sharecropping was supposedly a system that was created to give African Americans some form of freedom after leaving slavery, right? But ultimately, ultimately what it did was it robbed the family of many years of their life, many years of hard work, never being able to pay off their debts, continuing the cycle of generational poverty. So they had given all of their life force energy to the plantation in hopes of one day being able to buy their freedom, buy a home, do something, because that was the promise behind these things, and ultimately a lot of them died broke, and left their children broke with nothing, while these sharecrop people who was on top of the sharecroppers, right, these plantation, these masters and these owners, while they were able to capitalize off the life of these once enslaved people and ultimately pass down generational wealth to their descendants off of the slaves' hard work, efforts, life force, energy, okay? So there were promises that were always made, and that were not kept, right? And it was designed so that the sharecropper could never really ever pay off his debt. So they'll lend you something, but they knew you would never be able to pay it back. So you were forever inside of their control and their dominion, okay? And, God forbid you didn't pay, you didn't pay your shares, right? Who knows what happened to them, Killings, losing their homes on that plantation, perhaps having to uproot the whole family and try to look for work on another plantation in another state, all of that, okay? Now we got the music industry, okay? And the music industry, if you're unfamiliar, it's going on heavy these days, and the internet is there, everything's there so you can see it. We just recently had Atlantic Records, right? Atlantic Records are having so many artists that are just dying pretty much, and I'm sure these record companies have insurance policies out on these young men or young women, and they're signing these contracts with the wool pulled over their eyes. They want the glamour, they want the money and what's promised to them, but they don't know that behind these contracts are demonic spirits, are deaf spirits, okay, that seek to steal, kill, and destroy. So we're seeing these young people sign these big deals, right? Or what they may assume to be big. Is more money than they've ever had in their life. I don't even think this day they're giving people $1 million deals anymore. I hear people say they're giving hundreds of, like 100,000, 250,000, something like that. And if you're on the higher end of things, maybe you're making about 500,000. They'll give you right out the gate. And to someone who isn't coming from money, that seems like a lot, So they'll give you that advancement, okay? But ultimately, they're coming back to collect. And if you don't collect, right, if you don't perform according to what they projected you to perform and they can't recoup that money, death is a money game, okay? Death is a way that they get their money back, okay? Because remember, like I said, these spirits and demonic spirits are attached to them. These graveyard spirits are attached to these contracts. So when they ultimately kill you, right, which it always happened through some kind of mysterious means, and I need people to understand this is how magic and spirits work, okay? They will make it like it was just some kind of incident that you died. You know, you hear about people just dying in hotel rooms and stuff like that. No, there were forces that was sent out, like I said, that's attached to these contracts, that if you don't pay, because it's legal and it's binded, it is set up to come out and seek you and get you. But if you don't know that, you have no recourse for it. You don't know that you need to be in prayer, you know, around the clock, and you need to be you know, talking with God and making sacrifices to God to get you out of this situation that you find yourself in. So these young men are signing these contracts, dying, and now when they die, these record labels now can sell their music, you know, after they die, right? And also they get that insurance money, and I'm sure whatever else comes with it. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I know enough to know that there's money in death, okay? So I do know that they find a way to get their money back in some, okay? So those are the new artists. Then we had artists like Sam Cooke. Who else? There's a few that I can't think of off the top of my head right now, but there was tons of them who had come into covenant with these men, because literally that's what you're doing when you're signing these contracts. You're coming into covenant, and you're coming into agreement. So okay, I'm gonna give y'all a good example with the music industry. So I'm sure you guys know Megan Thee Stallion and then The Baby. These are the two, and Jennifer Hudson. I'm gonna talk about her too, you know. So I don't think our people really know what they be doing, you know. They not awakened, so they don't know that anytime you dealing with someone, you need to know what you connecting with. You got to check people, organizations out thoroughly and know what you are binding your energy to. Very important. In this day and age, church, you must know every single person that you are attaching yourself to. So I think our people mostly don't know the consequences and ramifications of joining forces and signing these contracts with these people. You know, they just think that these people out to help them and do right by them. You know what I mean? And ultimately too, I do think there are a group of them. I don't know if eventually they get enlightened on the way and realize that, you know, that what they're doing requires sacrifice and they're down with it, or some of them maybe know before going in. I'm not sure, but I do know that there are some people, because I remember watching a video about a man who who did a testimony about how he wanted to be wealthy, and he was told how he could be wealthy, and he was told that they would give him wealth for 5 years, but after the 5th year they would have to kill him. And he wanted to do it, but then they told him in the clause was, but the wealth wasn't transferable. So it wasn't like he could give it to his daughter, because that was his hopes, was to pass the wealth down that he would be getting. But they told him that he would be able to use it, and then they would come and kill him and then come collect it back. And he wasn't okay with that, but he was okay with it if he lost his life in 5 years, but was able to pass it down. So some people will make that kind of sacrifice, you know what I mean? And I need people to understand too, our whole world and our whole life, this whole existence that we are in, it's all about sacrifices. I've come to that realization and that understanding and that revelation that it's all sacrifices. These wars that's going on over there, this is blood that must feed those gods, those spirits, because blood is the currency of the spiritual realm, okay? So you must know that. So like I said, some people are okay with it, but those of us who are the church and who are here to reestablish things, you know what I mean? That ain't our desire, you know what I mean? So we need to know this information, you know what I mean? So we don't get caught up in something and have untimely deaths before we get to do the work that we were sent here to do. Okay? So yeah, Jennifer Hudson had, soon as she, you know, took off, suddenly there was a murder in a family. It makes it look like it's random again, right? A murder in a family, the whole family get taken out, okay? That was that covenant. That was that maybe that unknown agreement that she didn't know, that if she was able to get these riches, they were going to need blood, okay? Now, Megan Thee Stallion, she signs the contract. She's on the rise, right? I don't know if it was right before or right after, but I know in her life, her mom passed, her father died, and her grandmother passed away, okay? That's a whole family taken out for one person to rise, okay? Now, if they agreed upon that, then so be it. I'm aware now that some people, like I said, make these agreements, okay? Then we have DaBaby. DaBaby is a rapper. He blows up, and I think his father dies, and about 2 of his brothers die, okay? All within a short period span. So this is what these contracts have the capability to do, okay? These contracts, right? They have stolen land from people, okay? Have genocide people, have killed people. Like, again, they need blood. So they have stole whole nations, whole continents, and land. So the example I give of that is the one we all know of the American, the Native American, and all the land treaties that they had, right? In turn, for these treaty contracts, they have taken Native American land, these colonialists, they took Native American land, right, giving them reservations, a quarantine part of their own land, right, made them, you know, obviously for you to do something like that, you had to drop in frequency, your wisdom, your knowledge, your brain, something happened to it. It was put under a scale. You went lower. You know what I mean? So that's just a form of mental illness where you have land and you decide you're going to let someone take it. You let them write the laws, and you're going to let them give you a piece of it, and they taking the rest of it. That's mental illness right there. Okay. So, and then we see that population dissipate. It's like, you know, from what they were to what they are now, they were decimated pretty much because of these contracts, okay? So again, these contracts are spells, and high-level magic. These people are high-level sorcerers. I need y'all to understand. I need y'all to know it. And it's so integrated and intertwined into our way of life being Americans that you just born into it, unless someone has some understanding and some wisdom in your family, you know what I mean, then you just gonna go along with the program, you understand, and continue the cycle. But that's what we here for today. We here to break down this demonic system that done took so many souls, okay? And we're here to offer an alternative, okay, to those of you who want an alternative. So those are the ways that I've demonstrated that these contracts wreak havoc on people, okay? So no signing contracts. If you can go without, go without, okay? And God is asking, and rather not asking, he's commanding, and this is a mandate to the church. This is a mandate to refuse any credit, anything that come your way that requires you to sign and be bind to it financially. Don't sign it. Reject it, okay? And this is because God wants us to implement kingdom finances, okay? And the true wealth, again, the true wealth of the church is going to be its members, its unity. You are the money. You have to know that. Even in their world, you are the money, but they don't tell you that. They tell you that you should be glad and lucky that you're participating. But in all actuality, when it breaks down, it's your energy that runs and feeds that system. So you need to now begin to withdraw your energy from it and put your energy into the kingdom finance system. Okay? That is what you are being called to do at this time. Okay? So let me see here. Okay. So basically, what we're doing is we are doing a whole reformation of the church, okay? This channel will be giving you everyday knowledge and wisdom, right, for dominion. But we're also ultimately looking for the church to come in union. With all your talents, all your gifts, we are ultimately looking to come into union to begin to build the infrastructure needed, so that when we do tell people to walk away, they have somewhere to go. Now, what I consider and what I've been told, I am a pioneer. So there is no true foundation for me. I'm just standing. I'm standing on the powers and the strength of the Most High, But for those of you that are to come along and to join me in these early stages, will also be pioneers. And then those that will come will ultimately be, those who come later on will ultimately be the beneficiaries of what we have put into motion. Okay, let me turn this light on a second. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me see, because I lost thought a little bit. I got some people walking by, but stay with me. Okay, so I think I did a pretty good job of laying out why we should not be signing these contracts, right? And the new system would be just us coming together, putting our resources together, and sharing them with one another. So whenever you need something, you're never without. We ultimately have our own banking system, right? And that's essentially what the church really should look like. The modern day church should look like. It should look like when people are going in tithing, right? It should look like a place where people tithe in. It's a banking system. And when you need to withdraw for whatever reason, you are able to withdraw. But instead, the way it's set up is it's set up that there's one man on top, right? And we tithe to him because he is the representation of God. So you're giving to him, right? And then him and his family, right, they get to keep that wealth, and nothing ever comes down to the members of the church. Okay, I'm here to tell you that that is not the church. That is the church that is fallen. That is the church that we have come to destroy. That church must die. Okay, the new church is a system where there's true equality, okay, where the resources belong to all of its members. The whole community have access to everything. Everything within the community, everyone has access to, okay? Because really, which I'm going to delve into another video, what is happening in the church that is called the church that must come down, okay, is essentially, it's American greed, American exceptionalism, and it's just it's the American way. The church is the beast. It is the way of America. It is literally where they're, like I said, one man at the top. It's just like what we talk about, the 90% controlling all the wealth of the world, and the rest, or rather the 1% controlling the wealth of the world, and the other 99% or 90% is those who are at the bottom and have nothing. This is the same thing, the same model that the church has. So I need people to understand that that system is incorrect, and it is not God's way, and it's not going to be the way moving forward. We will be in a world of balance, equality, where the wealth belongs to everyone, right? And in this world, they call that communism, I believe, but it won't be communism. This is the way and the system of the Most High, the ways of Ma'at. Okay, like I said, I'm going to go in depth a bit with that in another video, but that is the alternative to not signing credit. We must start and begin to join and connect with one another today, not tomorrow, like right now, because with these mandates, it's going to make you feel restrictive. If I can't take a loan from the bank, where am I going to get my money from? This is why now we must join and come together ASAP, okay? Coming together, creating the bank, creating the community, creating the church, creating the way, so that these resources will always be readily available to you, because they don't belong to any of the members technically. They belong to the collective of the members. We are a collective, not individuals, right? Okay. I'm gonna leave that there. And yeah, hopefully that blessed someone today who was thinking about signing a contract and buying some things that perhaps you don't have the money for and you wanted to get credit for. No. Just hold tight. There are many other ways that God can release funding to you. It will come, but don't sign their contracts. No. All right, that is the message for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I never asked that, but I just remembered that I got to start saying that, because we need this these videos to get out there. I need people to join the channel. I need people not only to join the channel, but I need people to join me in creating the world that is to come. So look forward to hearing your comments. So if you have any comments you want to leave below, leave them below. If there's anybody that wants to begin to build, my email is florida1321@gmail.com. Hit me up and let's get to building. Peace.